Today, for the first time in Africa, a self-flying air taxi will take the skies.
Gaza Pork Gami, Eba, Ghana. John Dramani Mahama, ni inauguration, so obey o man penny diamo my Ghana. Na Paul Teho, no share any padomini mo banning a dear and confudi or machini mo a gadiomo, na asofo enkwa bet is 90%. Paul Tiwas annual wusulity. John Dramani Mahama Pachu Timi. Papa need you, Miss Rekasakakra. So, opese Ghana, a yet to say Rwanda. Wadamfo Rwanda ni papai, sianawati. Tinkomona minudi nipa. Enkonfona mso me asofo Ghana hono. Omu ninim die bi o metimi de abo my Ghana. The development, ade very development omu ni bi. Omu die no spiritual nkwasi akeka sebe. Asa. Pork Gami wadamfo John Dramani Mahama wadamfo. Obesi so hu se nkofo no eninim die bi o metimi de abo man Rwanda. Ene o ka kire o mo say asori a omatete wo Rwanda ho. Ensori wo Rwanda o. Obi anka se ensori no ensori wo. O ka kire o mo say ensori wo Rwanda na jimifo ni nyina nkofie nkoda. Ene o de restrictions to ho. John Dramani Mahama enti Paul ba inauguration ni expect say obebusa Paul say Papa Paul say na wo ye no a okuru na tima kwasa. Ne wa kire mu akire. Ye betima boaw ana me ka akire. Say Pork Gami onam wiem o. Why taxes or my taxes and nam electronics and on me ametie manko University of Science and Technology or more muko University of Science and Technology or nim the no be no ade no so mo say a spirit na hwan na wo nim die bi na hwan je say the Elon Musk ye no munko fo yo mo Ghana o mo so mo spirit o mo ni sa nim die no nyansa na o mo ni bi apart from apostle ko Joseph no so kro asa akora bi na aba na nsi ono so ye neoma enkofo am hu am so ya asofo Ghana ho omu ni sa nimdie ne ye development no omu ni bi enti Pork Gami Mahama tie ne frɛ no wate opo mo mbebo wa frɛ Elon Musk mo obeba frɛ Pork Gami obeba na frɛ Ibrahim Trawo omo ombeba ne buso omo kwa befa so wakyekire fa asofo ne fo mo gu garbage bi mu wow hwede wadamfo Paul oye yesi wonam wiem o onam wiem o pe taxi na nam wiem na ahyiawo tie nkomo na ye dini mi di nkomo asofo we mfa hwembro sofo ben na wo gan obetimi le sase ne bosa me ene nam so e ma car we baaye me ene nam so ma technology we baaye me ene nam so ma empumto we baaye sofo ben o mo di ni nti tie nkomo anya so sofo wo fa me afuo ye hu nkomo ni di wa anya afuo nkomo ni afuo le se yin betima ye afuo omle so mo spirit mutimi kwa spiritual eba physical omukọ muntimi musa omo spirit ni nyansasem emba ye ne aye kwa spirit ni bi no emie nya so mfaso ombe ye ewuo we bewu enso beto ebewu afa we bewu na we asa eti Papa John Dramani Mahama tie dia make na frɛ Pork Gami ne busan se oye den wotimi control sade obekyerew ensoro wo Rwanda o ensoro wo ho obi anka se nsoro ho but agimifo nsoro no sebe ni nyina agu ana abeka enyansafo no mbetima aboa no omne wo enye Ghana de na kinke enye no ne ho kon mo ne idi wa emwaw ewo Ghana ho wadamfo ne nam wiem no Paul Gami nam wiem en wo ye technologies ana wote Ghana de nsa agu so ne yetu ahonhom Mahama tie nkomo na yedi no we mum wow frɛ Pork Gami ne frɛ Elon Musk ne ka kyene sɛ ohia innovations o ma ba ya meminim ne ho ye frɛ wo mo ma ba ya mo tie de wadamfo eti Rwanda oye na wankasa de tie de miken fanse wonua anasa o bucket wa na wo fa ase ne kase wo de fanse me yegimegimi na me kase ne tie de nkofo ne ka no na wa afato nsane ne busa sɛ onkofo yi a wo so mo ye spirit fu wo Ghana ho ya de omunima aye we ne bewini na we ne eba na we ne eku na we ne eku emfa so be na wo sa nkofo yi so apart from so obehye nkomo a sebe ye nkwase yankom hye asa oni hwi ka bi ontimi nya abobo ya akora ontimi nkase makwa ba hunu sɛ gold ye de hye yesen keke no ye betimi de ayewe spirit ne se ye mfa be obi no ye spiritual man wo Ghana ho wo nyansa obetimi de aye de make kan asa eye bon ho ban we be kun na we be yese na we kotam we na we be Sa spiritual man be na ti Ghana wonim die obetimi dia create bibi asa. Enti Paul no nkyerɛw. Na pork gami onam wiem sisi ya ye kase. Me madwen kyerɛ ni. Wudi matem a me mfa ho. Ba dia me kan ye no kore. Se be pork gami Rwanda o. Ayetimi kum nipa akon Rwanda o. Wo me be so omnam. Omnam wiem na mo gun wuram na mo bɔ mpae. Tie nkomo na ye dini. Papa John, fa we mu to garbage. Eye fa yi asofo ne prophet no. Fa mu gu bola bi kura mu. Ne concentrate. Israel nya asofo no mo chichiri wo. Israel for the technology na chichiri man no. Israel for create. Ye to bombo ba Israel. Wo chi no de akoma ni wura. No frɛ wo mo. Ne fa we mu gu garbage bi. Tie nkomo na me dini. Minim so obubefu mo me spiritual taba bufu me nso me mfa wo ho ni wa o spiritual taba obuwafu me ka no kwe na akero minim se wa ohwe me ayesofo obubefu se o prophet na mayo obi o me mfa wo ho mayo obi wa hwi tie nkomo na me dini ti Papa John wona message ma o mo kan dey forget o na frɛ Paul na won kyerɛ kwan abefa so na Paul gami Rwanda for etimayi we ya Ghana e betimayi o.
Today, for the first time in Africa, a self-flying air taxi will take the skies.
So, ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, keep your minds open, and let's take off on this journey together. Murakaza neza ichigari.
And what I wanted to say is that we're here for the long run. We are here because we see the future of the continent, and that's what we're supporting.
Business aviation is not a luxury, it is an economic driver.
Rwanda has launched Africa's first flying car, shocking the US. Have you ever dreamt of hopping on a car that doesn't need roads? A vehicle that lifts straight up, carries you above the traffic, and lands right where you need to be? For decades, science fiction promised it. Now, in the heart of Africa, that vision just might be taking flight. During the Aviation Africa 2025 summit, Rwanda stunned the world when it hosted Africa's first public demonstration of a self-flying air taxi. No pilot, no runway, just a compact electric aircraft rising into the sky on its own. It was sleek, silent, and straight out of the future. But here's the real question. Is this the beginning of a transport revolution or just a flashy tech showcase? Can a small nation leapfrog decades of road building and become a leader in the skies? In this video, we're going to unpack what really happened at the historic demo, how the technology works, why Rwanda was chosen, and whether flying cars are truly Africa's next big leap or just an expensive dream. On the 4th of September 2025, all eyes were on Kigali as the city hosted the 9th Aviation Africa Summit and Exhibition. This wasn't just another conference about airports and airplanes. It was where Rwanda would introduce something bold, Africa's first public self-flying passenger air taxi demo. Inside the packed venue, government officials, aviation leaders, tech experts, and curious guests filled the hall with a mix of excitement and skepticism. The event had already begun on a high note, with President Paul Kagame's opening remarks. He spoke about Africa's aviation challenges, the high cost of air travel, weak intra-African links, and the urgent need of modern solutions. Rwanda, he insisted, was ready to lead by example. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. On the runway outside, under the bright Kigali sun, a futuristic white craft rolled out. This was the EHang EH216S, an electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, sleek, round, and compact. It looked like something straight out of the sci-fi film. But this wasn't fiction. The air taxi's rotors began to spin. Slowly, it lifted from the ground, hovering steadily as the crowd gasped and phones shot up to capture the moment. In less than a minute, the EH216S climbed to nearly 100 meters above the city. It floated gracefully in the sky, buzzing gently before circling and then returning to land. The flight was short, but it was enough to prove a point. Rwanda wasn't just talking about the future, it was showing it. Officials from EHang, the Chinese company behind the aircraft, stood proudly alongside Rwandan leaders. To them, this was more than a demo, it was a message. Rwanda wanted to position itself as a hub for next-generation mobility and what they called the low-altitude economy. This concept means using airspace below traditional aviation levels for drones, air taxis, and cargo delivery, essentially building a new transport layer above congested roads. The crowd's reaction said it all. Many clapped and cheered, others simply stared in awe. To see a flying car rise in front of them was surreal. Rwanda described it as the start of a new chapter, one where Africa's cities could leapfrog the traffic struggles that plagued so many capitals, moving straight into the skies. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone. Rwanda, a small landlocked country that has rebuilt itself steadily over the last 3 decades, was now grabbing headlines worldwide for bringing futuristic aviation to Africa first. Delegates from across the continent whispered about what this could mean for their own countries. Was this just Rwanda being ambitious, or the beginning of something far bigger? Alan P. Ford, chairman of the Africa Aviation Summit, gave a very clear picture of the problem facing the aviation industry in Africa. He did not shy away from the truth, and at the same time, he shared his belief that these problems could be solved if people worked together. One of the first things he pointed out was the issue of poor connectivity within the continent. For a continent as big and diverse as Africa, moving from one country to another by air should be simple and easy, but in reality, it is often very difficult. Travelers have to take long and expensive routes, sometimes flying to Europe or the Middle East first before returning to another African country. This not only wastes time but also makes flying unaffordable for many Africans. P. Ford explained that this poor connectivity also affects businesses. When goods cannot move quickly and easily across the continent, trade slows down. Companies cannot reach new markets efficiently, and smaller businesses are especially hurt because they don't have the resources to pay for costly shipping or complicated routes. This slows down economic integration across Africa, which is something leaders on the continent have been trying to improve for years. Tourism is another sector that suffers. Many African airlines still struggle with outdated systems, shortage of skilled workers, limited infrastructure, and slow adaptation of international standards. This can affect everything from safety to customer service. For example, some airports may not have modern equipment, which makes it harder to manage flights on time. Delays, cancellations, and high costs are common problems that push travelers away from African airlines and airports. For aviation to thrive, these standards must be raised to match global expectations. Despite all these challenges, P. Ford's outlook was not negative. He stressed that solutions are possible if everyone works together. He highlighted the theme of the summit, collaborating to unlock Africa's growth. How can Africa deliver a sustainable aviation industry? This message was meant to remind both government and private businesses that aviation cannot grow in isolation. Partnerships are needed. Governments must provide policies that support growth. Airports must invest in better infrastructure, and private companies must be ready to innovate and bring new technology into the sector. P. Ford also encouraged African countries to look at the bigger picture. Aviation is not just about flying planes. It's about connecting people, goods, and cultures. A strong aviation sector can strengthen economies, create jobs, and build stronger identity. For Africa in the global market, by uniting around common goals, leaders and stakeholders can create a system where flying in Africa is easier, safer, and more affordable. His speech left listeners with a clear sense that the future of Africa aviation lies not just in fixing problems, but in working together to build a brighter, more connected tomorrow. So, what is it about EH216S? While it might sound futuristic, this aircraft is already real, tested, and flying in several countries. Understanding what it is and how it works helps us see why many people are excited about its potential in Africa. In simple terms, the EH216S is a small, battery-powered flying vehicle built by the Chinese company EHang. It is part of a new category of aircraft called eVTOLs. This means electric vertical takeoff and landing. Unlike regular planes that need long runways, eVTOLs can lift off straight up like a helicopter. The EH216S is designed to carry 2 passengers at a time, which makes it more like a personal air taxi than a traditional airplane. Now, let's talk numbers, because that's where the design really shines. The EH216S cruises at about 100 kilometers per hour and can go a little faster if needed, reaching a maximum speed of 130 kilometers per hour. Its flight range is 35 kilometers and flight time is around 21 minutes before the batteries need recharging. It's not meant for cross-country trips or long journeys. Instead, it's built for short hops across busy cities, the kind of routes where sitting in traffic for hours could be replaced by a quick 15-minute flight. The S in EH216S simply stands for Series or Standard Production Model. That means it's not just a prototype anymore. It's a product ready for wider use, with governments and companies already showing interest in buying it. In fact, EHang has received over 1,200 pre-orders worldwide, and in 2023, it became the first company in the world to receive an official airworthiness certificate for a fully autonomous passenger, eVTOL. That's a huge step because it means regulators now recognize it is safe enough for public use. The aircraft itself is pretty fascinating. It has 16 propellers and 16 electric motors, all powered by rechargeable batteries. This design gives it balance and safety. Even if one motor fails, the others can keep the aircraft stable. It can carry up to 220 kilograms or 485 pounds, which covers 2 passengers and their light luggage. The cockpit has a canopy-style cover with wide windows, giving passengers a clear view of the skies and the city below. It even has gull-wing doors that open upwards, adding a bit of style to the practicality. To keep it light and strong, the body is built with carbon fiber composites, and instead of wheels, it uses simple skid landing gear like a helicopter. What really makes the EH216S stand out is its autonomous flying systems. Unlike traditional aircraft that need a trained pilot, this one flies itself. The onboard computer uses a mix of sensors, radars, GPS, cameras, and a barometer to understand its surroundings. The system can make decisions in real time, choosing routes, avoiding obstacles, and landing safely. Behind the scenes, the aircraft is also connected to the EHang Command Center, which monitors flights and provides extra support when needed. For passengers, that means you just get in, select your destination, and the machine does the rest. It's basically the flying version of hailing a ride on Uber. EHang has already tested the EH216S in a variety of conditions. By 2020, it had logged over 2,000 passenger flights, including trips in bad weather like fog and strong winds. Tests have been conducted not only in China, but also in Dubai, Japan, Austria, Brazil, and now Rwanda. High-profile people like the Dutch Prince Pieter Christian and government officials in Dubai have already flown it, showing the company's confidence in its safety. What's more, EHang is not stopping at passenger flights. The same aircraft design has been adapted into other versions. There's the EH216L, a logistic model for carrying cargo, and the EH216F, designed for firefighting in high-rise buildings. The firefighting version can carry 150 liters of foam and fire bombs, hover in front of a burning skyscraper, and launch its fire-extinguishing payload with precision. This shows that the platform can be used for more than just transport. It could also play a big role in smart city management. The company also envisions e-ports, futuristic hubs on rooftops, near water or on the ground where these aircraft can land, recharge, and take off again. Imagine a network of sky stations across a city, making it possible for someone to book a flight, get picked up, and be dropped off just a few kilometers away, all without touching a congested road. Now, this brings us to our last big question. Why Rwanda? If there's one thing Rwanda has shown the world in the past decade, it's that the country is not afraid to try bold ideas. Long before the air taxi demo in Kigali, Rwanda had already made headlines for using drones to solve very real problem. delivering blood to patients in need. 6 years ago, this was a serious challenge. Rwanda is a small country with about 12 million people, and most of them live in rural areas. Emergencies happen everywhere. Car accidents, women suffering heavy bleeding during childbirth, or children needing urgent transfusions. In those critical moments, blood had to move quickly from storage centers to faraway hospitals. But getting blood from point A to point B wasn't simple. Unlike many countries where people mostly lived in cities, 83% of Rwandans lived in rural areas. The roads can be hilly, bumpy, and slow. Blood has a short shelf life, especially certain components like platelets, which spoil in just few days. A long drive on winding roads wasn't always the safest way to get such fragile cargo to patients. That's when the government decided to try something unusual. In 2016, Rwanda partnered with Zipline, a California-based drone company, to deliver blood by air. Here's how it works. A drone takes off from a distribution hub with blood packed inside a small insulated box. When it reaches the hospital, the box parachutes gently down and forward.
Okay, let's go up.
To use the laser home kit. First, apply the gel directly to the tooth surface as demonstrated on the video. Second, connect the light to your phone using the USB provided. Leave the light shining on your teeth for 16 minutes. Fourth, rinse your mouth and the mouthpiece with water, cold water. And lastly, smile. Using the toothpaste separately. Brush twice daily with the toothpaste. Bear in mind, this product is not suitable for pregnant women, breastfeeding mothers, and children under 18 years old. Enjoy!
I am Shafo. So, pair a sifita structure of what and the enough for unique laser whiten. Any tea stains, coffee stains, smoking stains to be a unique laser whitening product. Ebaying in air free summer, come. The Oyan is so befraying. I was 079 9979 2330. Unique laser whitening, or say Muni Sesso.
Abone fonti. I was so no bambo here. Na me papa mu de. Pro Technologies. And me come from my Ane. Pro Technologies. We are specialized in both sales and installation of CCTV cameras. Yeton, esa install CCTV cameras in the South Ghana. And NASA brochure now fear Ghana. Now beso CCTV camera installation. We need Pro Technologies. And in South. We CCTV camera installation, electric fence, automated gate, access control, video doorbell, and our intercom, and our satellite TV. Home theater, so we pay biato, and our water, and our PC install them out. Pro Technologies, and our software, national so. Say a video in from America, but in this and papa now pedia, man, none wants to that form. Near general construction, so PC so feed them out, say a bansro. Then tia, so a chassis, now PC read the bow, and after now PC see them out. One year and in South so. Near the woman say, you know, you know, what but memoha, and your branch, our Ghana, nine more brown or bre, and this was sick of fire and somewhere. Him, or dad, and then you are Pride beer. And when you saw here solar power, and a bamba wants and send be idea. Only Pro Technologies, any so. Yeah, smart home. I'm back from video be a person show fee. And now intercom, you do juma. Any essential interior decoration. Yes, you feel now. And now I was you fee. Now person says you hold the mawo. Say a your office. You be travel neat. Near your car tracker. And a GPS. I'll bet media track your car. Be a car and then be a bet my hair a phone so. And register what phone video be. Now who can first install it. And now the settings. You pay a amount. Your Ghana office. Ewo Ashi. Adenta Dodo Road. Yane CBG. And the DNM. For information or WhatsApp +1 401 75 70 300 and +1 401 69 92 254. Pro Technologies. Customer satisfaction is our topmost priority.